Did someone specifically warn us about Hurricane Hilary on the West Coast all the way back in 2011 and what would happen after that? Michael Snyder reports. I've got to tell this story because nobody else seems to be telling it. I shared this with my core supporters last week, but in light of everything that has just transpired, I feel compelled to issue a warning for the entire nation. If this warning resonates with your spirit, please share it as widely as you can. I need your help to get this message to as many people as possible because there's only so much that I can do on my own. If we know that disaster is coming to the state of California, it's our responsibility to warn people. In 2011, John Paul Jackson shared some very alarming things about California that had been shown during a supernatural experience with God. He was shown that the state would be hit by a hurricane of incredible force or a storm of incredible force, but this storm was not to be the main event. John Paul Jackson has shown that this would be the final sign before the big one earthquake hits California. And once the big one hits California, John Paul Jackson saw that the shape of the state will be permanently changed. So did John Paul Jackson specifically warn us about Hurricane Hilary all the way back in 2011? All these years, there have been some of us that have been waiting for a storm that perfectly fits this description. To me, it appears that it finally has happened. The following is a very rough transcript of John Paul Jackson's remarks. Quote, there is an earthquake that has been predicted to devastate California, meaning skyscrapers are going to fall, that the shape of the United States will change after that earthquake. That won't happen until after there's a storm. A major storm is going to come to California. It's either a hurricane of incredible force or it is a storm of incredible force, but a great, great hurricane or incredible force storm is going to come to California. And the earthquake that destroys it will not happen until after that takes place. So there is a way of saying, okay, I have time, but that does not mean it won't be an earthquake tomorrow, magnitude 7.5, or next week or 2 weeks from now of some magnitude. I'm talking about the one that changes the shape of California, where you don't want to live in California, anywhere in California. When that happens, even most of the West Coast, where an inland ocean is formed, and Baja becomes an island. And the mouth of the island ocean forms between San Diego and Los Angeles. That is going to happen that is not going to happen before that storm comes. That is a sign that God is giving to the people, don't worry about that big one because this sign will happen first, end quote. This is a very significant prophecy, isn't it? Storm Hilary was the first storm to be officially classified as a tropical storm over the state of California since 1939. So this was an extremely rare event. But even if this was a final warning that John Paul Jackson warned us about, we do not know the length of the interval between the storm and the big one earthquake. It could be days, it could be weeks, it could be months, or it could even be years. We just don't know. What we do know is that Hilary behaved very oddly. At one point, the path of the storm made a very unusual turn that took it directly over the heart of Los Angeles. For days, forecasters had been trying to determine the path of Hilary as it formed from Category 4 hurricane in the Pacific Ocean to an extremely rare tropical storm that entered Southern California. But the trail of Hilary took an interesting turn Sunday night as the storm made a trek from the inland empire to the heart of Los Angeles. The center of the storm went from being east of Moretia in Riverside County at 5 p.m. to above Compton around 8 p.m., according to the National Hurricane Center. So if Hilary was a sign of the big one is going to hit Los Angeles, this would make all the sense in the world. As the storm battered Southern California, people were literally climbing trees in order to escape dangerous floodwaters and mudslides. Panicking Californians were trapped in cars and climbing trees in bid to escape dangerous floodwaters and mudslides as Tropical Storm Hilary battered the state, bringing down bridges and power lines and leaving vehicles stranded on flooded roads. The first tropical storm to hit Southern California in 84 years, brought havoc across the state, leaving 25 million people under flood warnings and schools to close today following fears of devastating destruction. The state has seen record levels of downpours, with mountain and desert areas predicted to get 5 to 10 inches of rain today, as much as the desert's tropical sea in a year, while yesterday Ventura County saw up to 10 inches of rainfall within 2 hours. This was the first tropical storm to hit Southern California in 84 years, and some areas received staggering amounts of rain. In the last 48 hours, the National Weather Service recorded 6 places in Los Angeles County with over 5 inches of rainfall. In the Weather Service's 7 p.m. update, Leona Valley recorded 6.15 inches in the last 48 hours. Lewis Ranch saw 5.94 inches, while Saugus and Lake Palmdale both had over 5 inches. In the metro area, Beverly Hills had 2.51 inches, while LA's downtown had 1.76 inches. August is typically the driest month of the year for the Los Angeles area. According to the Weather Service's Los Angeles office, Deals Flat in the eastern Santa Monica Mountains received an incredible 0.47 inches in just 10 minutes. By now, you've probably seen the photographs of Dodger Stadium. At one point, it literally looked like an island because it was completely surrounded by water. Conditions at Dodger Stadium have now returned to normal, but the same thing cannot be said about Cathedral City. Some residents woke up on Monday morning only to find that they were trapped in their own homes by massive amounts of mud and sand. Cathedral City residents awoke Monday to find themselves trapped in their homes due to mud pile up and their cars strewn far and wide after Tropical Storm Hilary ravaged the area. Residents in the city immediately south of Palm Springs experienced a debris flow that included significant amounts of mud and sand landing in front of some of their homes. Firefighters are currently going house to house to make sure the people who want to get out can leave, Fire Chief Michael Contreras told CNN. So, was this it? Was this what John Paul Jackson saw? I believe it was. That means that there is nothing holding back the big one now. The lost prophecies of the future of America. I shared many other prophecies about the future earthquakes that will dramatically change the geography of Southern California someday. We've been warned again and again that this is going to happen. Of course, most people that live in California do not want to listen to such warnings, but we're going to keep sounding the alarm because that is what we have been called to do. This is by Michael Snyder. He says about the author, my name is Michael, and my brand new book entitled End Times is now available on Amazon. In addition to my new book, I've written 6 other books available on Amazon, including 7-Year Apocalypse, Lost Prophecies of the Future of America, The Beginning of the End, and Living a Life That Really Matters, commissions earned. When you purchase any of the books, these books, you help to support the work that I'm doing. And one way that you can really help is by sending copies as gifts to family and friends. Time is short, and I need help getting these warnings to the hands of as many people as possible. I've also started a brand new Substack newsletter. I encourage you to subscribe so that you won't miss any of my latest updates. I've also published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, and the Most Important News. And the articles that I publish on those sites are republished on dozens of other prominent websites all over the globe. I always freely and happily allow others to republish my articles on their own websites, but I also ask that they include this about the author section with each article. The material contained in this article is for general information purposes only, and readers should consult licensed professionals before making any legal, business, financial, or health decisions. I encourage you to follow me on social media on Facebook and Twitter, and any way that you can share these articles with others is definitely a great help. These are such troubled times and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, I strongly urge you to invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. This is on End of the American Dream by Michael Snyder. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support, and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.